But anybody who had ever worked with her, anybody who had ever seen her on or off Broadway, was already witness to her monumental gift.
You won't talk about gender inequality of pay, because a lot of the women who've stepped forward, and I stand in solidarity with them, okay? What they're getting paid, which is half of what a man is getting paid. You have to understand, we're coming from a place of privilege, which means we're working already.
So in Hollywood, you've got some real evils who love messing with newbies, trying to crush their dreams. But then there's the awesome Viola Davis, always there to have their backs and fight against the industry's nonsense. And guess what? Meryl Streep is rolling up to join the squad, letting everyone know she's all about saving talent in the biz. Just before hitting the stage to grab her Best Supporting Actress award at the Oscars, Viola Davis made a sweet move by giving Meryl Streep a big hug and a kiss. Totally expected, though. These two go way back to their 2008 Doubt days and have been each other's biggest cheerleaders ever since, always showing that public love and support. Back in 2009, during her acceptance speech for Best Actress at the SAG Awards for Doubt, Meryl Streep didn't just thank Viola Davis, she practically shouted, "My God, somebody give her a movie!" Even though they only shared a brief scene in Doubt, Davis left an unforgettable mark. Fast forward 3 years, Viola Davis takes the lead in The Help, coming close to an Oscar win for Best Actress until she was edged out by none other than Meryl Streep. The fact that they continue to be tight pals speaks volumes about the genuine support and camaraderie between these two powerhouse actresses. They're not just awe-inspiring on screen, but also in their friendship game.
And so Viola would rev up quietly, and then he'd say, wait, we have to cut, we have to cut. And she'd go back to zero.
When Viola Davis got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in January, Meryl Streep showed up to celebrate her buddy. During her opening remarks, Streep didn't just throw out a couple of casual stories. Nope, she went all out, giving the crowd a vivid picture of Davis's incredible talent. Viola Davis is possessed. She's got this blazing, incandescent power. I'd argue she's the most immediate, responsive artist I've ever worked with, Streep declared. And she didn't stop there, painting a picture of Davis being so alive that she practically glistens and has the ability to write paragraphs with her eyes. Now that's some serious praise. Just days later, the tables turned as Viola Davis showered Meryl Streep with praise at the Golden Globes when Streep received the Cecil B. DeMille Award. Davis reminisced about their initial moments on the set of Doubt when she was too shy to confess that Streep was her acting hero. However, this time around, Davis didn't hold back the compliments, expressing, "You make me proud to be an artist. You make me feel that what I have in me, my body, my face, is enough." Even in the midst of stiff competition, friendship always takes the spotlight. Back in the 2012 award season, Meryl Streep and Viola Davis found themselves in the same Best Actress category, Davis for The Help and Streep for portraying Margaret Thatcher in The Iron Lady. Despite Streep taking home the Oscar the morning after the ceremony, she donated $20,000 to Segway Institute for Learning, a struggling charter school in Davis's Rhode Island hometown, and to the college prep program Upward Bound, all in Davis's name. Just like any pair of old pals, Streep and Davis also know how to throw in a well-timed jab or two. During the Walk of Fame ceremony, where Streep honored Davis, she playfully mentioned their ongoing argument about Davis running down her collard greens cooking skills. Streep smirked, saying, "She has run down my ability to cook collard greens, but I haven't had her over in a while," sporting a challenging grin. At the Globes, Davis fired back on the same culinary note, playfully mimicking a conversation with Streep. "What did you do last night, Viola?" "Oh, I cooked an apple pie." "Did you use Pippin apples?" "No, I didn't use Pippin apples. What the hell are Pippin apples?" "I used Granny Smith apples." "Did you make your own crust?" "No, I used store-bought crust. That's what I did." "Then you didn't make an apple pie, Viola." "Well, that's because I spent all my time making my collard greens. I make the best collard greens. I use smoked turkey, chicken broth, and my special barbecue sauce." Silence. I shut her down. But even their jabs are in jest. This friendship is rooted in sincerity. During Streep's Golden Globe speech in 2012, before she left the stage, and after having already thanked her once, her last words were of praise for her friend. "I love you, Viola," she said, as she blew a kiss to the actress below. "You're my girl." However, Davis has always been vocal about her struggles as a Black artist. In an interview, Viola Davis opened up about the extra challenges she faces as a Black woman in Hollywood, highlighting the significant disparity in opportunities and compensation compared to her white counterparts. During the Women in the World LA Salon interview, Davis shared, "We get probably a tenth of what a Caucasian woman gets, and I'm number one on the call sheet, and then I have to go in and I have to hustle for my worth." Detailing her extensive credentials, Davis emphasized her more than 30-year professional career, including winning an Oscar, an Emmy, and 2 Tonys, as well as excelling in Broadway, off-Broadway, TV, and film. She pointed out that her career achievements are comparable to top white actresses like Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, and Sigourney Weaver. However, Davis expressed frustration that despite having a similar career path, the disparities in terms of compensation and job opportunities persist, highlighting the stark inequalities within the industry.
You can't compare me to you because, once again, I got the Oscar, I got the Emmy, I got the 2 Tonys. I've done Broadway, I've done off-Broadway, I've done TV, I've done film.
Viola Davis candidly shared that she constantly finds herself advocating for her worth, having to constantly get on that phone to fight for fair compensation. Despite being likened to a black Meryl Streep and receiving love from fans, she emphasized that if she's truly valued as such, then she should be paid accordingly. Davis extended the notion of worth beyond just monetary compensation. In her view, it also encompasses the quality and complexity of the roles she is offered. She expressed a desire for intricate and challenging parts, saying, "Because when I delve into a role, I want something complicated too. I want to build the most complicated human being. But what I get is the third girl from the left." Davis highlighted the need for recognition not only in terms of pay, but also in the depth and complexity of the characters she portrays. You might be aware of the information provided by some hidden sources that Hollywood elites allegedly play evil tricks to make any artist their slave. This was seen in the case of the movie Sound of Freedom.
This film is too important not to miss. This is for our children, for our country, for our sovereignty right now. And this is the hottest film going right now.
This movie openly highlighted the issue of HE supposedly going on everywhere and, more importantly, in Hollywood. Undoubtedly, this issue remains a pressing and unresolved matter that calls for humanity's collective attention and action. As you may be aware, Jim Caviezel, who is playing the lead role in the movie, and Mel Gibson previously worked together in the film Passion of the Christ. Since then, their collaboration has extended behind closed doors as they continue to join forces, not only to combat that specific issue, but also to address various other taboo concerns in the world.
By taking a stand against radicals, you're helping them. And again, you were mentioning about Christians. They have to start waking up and getting to that level.
This movie was said to be Mill's move to expose all the human exploitations going on in the industry. According to Jim, "I'm going to destroy them because my own church staff, my fellow Pharisees, said evil. Well, I'm going to take them out." Now, Viola Davis is following the same notion of exposing Hollywood and some significant activities undergoing there. She has been working in our foundation since her teenage. According to her, she has seen the victims in such miserable conditions that no one can imagine it.
We have to save each other. That's what it is. That's all I can say. I mean, other than, putting laws in place.
Not only has Viola dealt with the victims of Hollywood's cruelty, but she also has been a victim of such activities herself. During the Foundation's annual brunch, actress Viola Davis bravely opened up about her personal experiences, revealing that she had faced SA during her childhood.
Assault is everywhere. Listen, let's be honest. We've just been waiting for the Me Too movement. Okay?
The actress shared this heartbreaking truth with the assembled guests, highlighting her journey from being a victim to becoming a passionate advocate for the group. Her courage in speaking out sheds light on the urgent need to address and combat SA, empowering others to find their voice and seek justice.
I cannot tell you at any time in my life that I was not assaulted in some way where it was just inappropriate.
During the gathering in Beverly Hills where she was being honored, Viola Davis delivered a powerful speech, bravely detailing her own experiences. She revealed, "Myself, my mother, my sisters, my friend Rebecca, my childhood friend, we all share a common bond. We are all survivors of SA in some way, shape, or form." She further went on saying, "When I was young, there were so many men in the neighborhood who gave you money if they could touch you. Going over to a friend's house for a birthday party at the age of 7, there was always someone there who touched you. Having joined the industry at a young age, Viola Davis has spent years working in Hollywood. Throughout her career, she has used her platform to shed light on pressing and serious issues that have plagued the industry since its inception. In her speeches and interviews, she fearlessly addresses these matters, bringing attention to the predators in Hollywood who never hesitate to wield their power and cancel artists by threatening their families.
Survivors and victims of assault need their voices to be heard. I don't know any woman in my life that has not been somehow affected by abuse.
Viola's fans have been deeply moved by her unparalleled bravery and unwavering courage in discussing a topic that few dare to confront. Admiring her fearlessness, they recognize that speaking out on such sensitive issues requires immense strength, especially in an industry where powerful figures have swiftly canceled out many popular figures for merely revealing minor truths about them. One of them wrote, "They are a bunch of losers. You are gorgeous, incredibly talented, inspirational, and each time you go to that stage, your speech moves me and I want to do more in life, Viola. Life is a fight. Keep fighting for us." Another added, "I feel like I learn something every time I hear Viola speak. I know I've said this before, but I love how Kirby interviews. She always lets the guests answer fully uninterrupted and lets the conversation flow naturally." Just like to add, The Help is probably my favorite film, or perhaps a close second behind The Untouchables. Confident by the unwavering support of her fans and supporters, Viola continues to fearlessly disclose more of the gruesome events that have shaped her life. In another revelation, the acclaimed star of How to Get Away with Murder, Viola Davis, shared a heartbreaking story of her sister Danielle's traumatic experience. At just the age of 8, Danielle endured a harrowing incident in the aisles of a corner shop, while the shop owner shockingly dismissed it as a regular occurrence, saying, "Does that to all the little girls?"
Once that assault happens, women always say that's the day that they died.
Viola expressed her desire to redefine what it means to be a survivor, sharing how her sister Danielle found solace in substances to cope with her ordeal. Additionally, she recounted the heartbreaking story of her friend who tragically lost her daughter to a crazy attacker.
That's the girl I'm always focused on. Bringing her from the time she's traumatized to getting that kit to healing.
In another interview, she shared how her loved ones are surviving as a result of some powerful elite's cruelty. She said, "My sister is now a H addict. She's a P. The friend of mine who's a survivor. I call her a survivor because her 7-year-old daughter was taken from the backyard of her grandma's house while playing in the middle of the day." Viola also shed light on the extreme traumatic experiences endured by some victims who are subjected to such overwhelming control that their minds compel them to blame themselves for the actions done to them. This burden takes a toll on their lives, leading them to take harsh and harmful steps to cope with the pain they carry.
They begin to re-victimize themselves over and over again.
She openly talked about how victims are made A and abducted. Talking about her friend's daughter, she said, "They couldn't find her for an entire day, and they finally found her SA, strangled, dead. So her mom, she's surviving. It's just that when she's surviving, when she's alive just having a meal, she has flashbacks, post-traumatic stress disorder." Upon delving deeper into Hollywood's history, we encounter a plethora of unspoken truths. A notable example is the case of Thandie Newton, where evidence indicates that the elites exerted control over him, leaving him traumatized by their actions.
I was definitely objectified to an extreme.
Thandie also disclosed that she was manipulated deliberately when she was young and joined the industry. The incident happened when her father went to another country and she was alone. She said, "I was 16 and a virgin. I'd been psychologically G over weeks. I didn't fight him off. I was almost paralyzed with fear. It was SA." During an interview, she recalled another incident which took place when she was auditioning at the studio for the second time. In the meantime, she was asked to be a part of an indecent activity.
The director asked me to sit with my legs apart. The camera was right between, positioned where it could see up my skirt.
Thandie further disclosed that she was also asked to sit in a weird manner in which she was not comfortable, saying, "He asked me to put my leg over the arm of the chair and think about the character I was supposed to be having the dialogue with and how it felt to be made love to by this person. He was a director. I was still very young and thought it must be normal." Years later, when Thandie Newton encountered the same director at the Cannes Festival, she noticed him giving her a strange smile. This raised her suspicion, prompting her to investigate further. To her shock, she discovered that the director had been secretly recording audition tapes and showing them to others in his home. This revelation explained his peculiar behavior towards Thandi and shed light on an unsettling practice within the industry.
He used to show that video late at night to interested parties at his house.
Thandi Newton, known for her roles in Line of Duty and Westworld, has been an outspoken advocate for shedding light on the pervasive issues of violence and racism in the entertainment industry. Throughout her career, she has courageously spoken out about her own experiences and the pressure she faced to remain silent about them.
It's not about the person that's been abused. It's not just their role to say enough. It's about the people around. How much are the people that witness, how much are they perpetrators of the crime?
During another interview with British Vogue, she has explained how these extremely violent incidents have changed her psychologically and physically as well. She said, "There's a moment where the ghost of me changed, you know, and it was 16. He derailed me from myself utterly. I was traumatized. It was a kind of PTSD for sure. I was so distraught and appalled that a director had abused a young actress and that it was happening elsewhere, minors getting abused and how F up it was. I was basically waiting for someone to come along and say, well, what shall we do about this?" Newton revealed that in the aftermath of her she struggled with eating disorders, resorting to controlling her food intake as a way to cope with the trauma. She said, "I punished my body to try and find my heart." Eddie Murphy has recently unveiled a revelation that exposes Hollywood's historical mistreatment of black actors. According to Murphy, the industry deliberately fostered a sense of separation among black actors, prioritizing division over unity. He alluded to undisclosed actions that have contributed to this intentional divide. Murphy's comments shed light on a troubling reality where black actors, instead of standing united, have been set against each other. He suggests that these divisive dynamics have been ingrained in the minds of up-and-coming black actors, exacerbating division within their community.
I ain't say I mean, I ain't in it. Huh? What sucks? Sucks? Or tell us something we don't know.
Envision Eddie Murphy taking on a role in a project helmed by Jordan Peele, or witnessing Jamie Foxx and Denzel Washington establishing their own production company. Interestingly, there's a notable absence of collaboration between Eddie Murphy and Spike Lee throughout their careers. These two individuals, each holding esteemed positions in Hollywood, exemplify a common trend among influential black creatives today. They avoid collaborating due to the fear that working together might lead Hollywood to dismantle the successes they've individually cultivated.
Make it, you gotta bust your black. You gotta be relentless. You gotta persevere. You gotta be focused.
Numerous theories reveal that Eddie Murphy has been part of over 50 movies in under 5 years, and only a fraction of those involve a black director. This apprehension, which underscores the industry dynamics, might explain the absence of a collaboration between Spike Lee and Tyler Perry on a project. A similar sentiment could be behind the fact that Will Smith and Denzel Washington have not joined forces for a series of films, mirroring the dynamic seen with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro.
Yeah, it was wise.
Especially that we are meeting kind of for the first time. That's important. So yeah, that does help.
The underlying reason for Spike Lee and Eddie Murphy's lack of collaboration seems to run deeper. In the current moment, a global awareness has emerged regarding the vulnerability of black lives, attributed to systemic issues that have generated troubling outcomes. With the amplification of the Black Lives Matter movement, an increasing number of individuals are recognizing the need for transformative change, starting with the empowerment of economic influence.
The president of the Canadian Black Chamber of Commerce says more businesses are seeking her help.
This shift in awareness has prompted a widespread desire to back Black-owned businesses, thereby fostering the circulation of wealth within the Black community. The significance of supporting such enterprises, though newly emphasized, is not an entirely novel concept. In Power Dynamics, a book authored by Dr. Claude Anderson, the value of analyzing spending patterns among Black Americans is discussed. Ultimately, the narrative underscores the critical significance of maintaining Black funds within Black control.
Black folk fail to understand that that schools are not change agents. They're only doing what the environment wants them to do. Schools in this country starting in the 1860s were designed.
This leads us to Spike Lee's emergence in the early 1980s as he embarked on crafting his own identity in the industry. During this time, he openly criticized not only Eddie Murphy, but also other Black individuals within Hollywood for failing to establish pathways for others akin to themselves. In a 1989 interview with Rolling Stone, Murphy offered his response to these allegations. Spike Lee had expressed his belief that Murphy might have overlooked using his clout to advance the presence of Black individuals in influential roles, particularly within Paramount.
Don't you think I realize what's going on here, miss? Who do you think I am, huh? Don't you think I know that if I was some hotshot from out of town that pulled inside?
He further said, "They were S to me on Saturday Night Live a couple of times after I'd left the show. They said some S things. I made a stink about it. It became part of the folklore. What really irritated me about it at the time was that it was a career shot. I felt S about it for years, but now I don't have none of that." Eddie Murphy and Spike Lee seem to adopt distinct approaches in addressing racism within Hollywood. Interestingly, during the production of Do the Right Thing, there were instances of Murphy visiting Lee on set. However, in a 1989 appearance on the Arsenio Hall show, Murphy playfully extended their friendly rivalry by humorously referring to Lee as a cricket, adding another layer to their dynamic.
I love Spike Lee. I seen Spike come on the show last week, and women said, "Wah!" And Spike looks like a cricket.
A year later, the two men engaged in a direct conversation regarding their respective stances. Their viewpoints seemed to align with the different approaches of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. In a one-on-one interview featured in Spin magazine, Lee and Murphy delved into their ongoing feud. Lee expressed the notion that Eddie Murphy had the potential to exert greater influence toward change. During the middle of the interview, Murphy openly shared his candid perspective on why he believed there was a lack of collaboration among Black individuals in Hollywood.
Because I think Black people aren't the most unified people on the face of the earth. We got to get everybody's schedule together.
Everybody says it's cool, but that doesn't ever come.
In a reflective tone, Eddie Murphy observed the presence of distinct factions within the Black community. He commented on the noticeable division among individuals of the same race, emphasizing that historically, this separation was imposed rather than intrinsic. Drawing parallels to the era of slavery, Murphy hinted at deliberate efforts to break up united groups of slaves. Bringing the analysis to the present day, he pointed out that when a Black person attains success, there tends to be an inclination to distance oneself and take sole ownership of achievements. Murphy attributed this reluctance to unite to an underlying fear of upsetting personal balance in the quest for collective collaboration.
We got hooked. We got all this hooked up with Black people. Chinese people all around because they got little and little.
Murphy highlighted that the inherent division within the Black community is not a deliberate choice, but rather deeply ingrained. He emphasized that this fearfulness stems from the apprehensions that white individuals harbor towards Black individuals. Sharing a personal anecdote, Murphy recounted an incident involving Mike Tyson. At a gathering hosted by Eddie Murphy Productions, Murphy found himself in the company of Mike Tyson and Don King.
Stay tuned for more of the Sammy Davis Jr. tribute honoring the one heavyweight I would never dare step into the ring with.
Reflecting on his workplace, where his managers were the only white employees, the trio delved into a discussion about white people and government matters. Strikingly, the conversation took a whispered tone, a phenomenon Murphy attributed to the deep-seated apprehension that the influence of the white man had instilled, leading even to discreet discussions within one's own abode.
Doing it the way they walk, they be walking all light because they ain't got no pulling them down.
The long-awaited classic interview emerged as an opportunity for both individuals to address the misunderstandings between them. However, more than a decade passed before any indications of their potential collaboration came to light. It was during this time that Spike Lee secured a role in a James Brown biopic and contemplated enlisting Eddie Murphy for the project. Regrettably, Lee's involvement was short-lived as he was eventually replaced by director Tate Taylor.
So up his balance, he be doing all this shit.
Skipping ahead to 2014, Chadwick Boseman took on the lead role in the movie instead of Eddie Murphy. Despite the ongoing absence of a film collaboration between Murphy and Lee, discussions have persistently surfaced. In 2011, it was reported that Murphy was lined up to portray former DC Mayor Marion Barry in a biopic directed by Spike Lee for HBO. However, Spike Lee changed his intentions and did not go with Murphy. Notably, Murphy's earlier observations about the unconventional dynamics for Black individuals in Hollywood prompted efforts towards the establishment of a genuine Black Hollywood scene.
Every time you see a brother in a wheelchair, he ain't always crippled. You got this hanging down.
Now, this is not the only case with male actors. The female young artists have also faced the same scenario. Oprah Winfrey and Taraji P. Henson recently found themselves in the midst of rumors suggesting a feud during the press tour for the upcoming Color Purple musical film. Speculation arose after a viral video sparked fan analysis of the body language between the two stars, implying potential tension. However, both Oprah and Taraji swiftly addressed the rumors on social media, dispelling any notion of a feud. Oprah lauded Taraji's talents and expressed excitement about her portrayal of Shug Avery in the film, while Taraji defended Oprah, highlighting the unwavering support and guidance she had received. The rumors were promptly put to rest as the two actresses showcased solidarity and mutual admiration. Oprah Winfrey has undoubtedly built an influential media empire that encompasses television production, acting, and publishing. Her remarkable contributions have earned her numerous accolades, including the prestigious Presidential Medal of Freedom. Beyond her media ventures, Oprah is recognized for her philanthropy work and advocacy on various social issues. During this one moment, they did not synchronize. The December 12th press event, hosted on top of New York City's Empire State Building, captured a moment that appeared to show Oprah awkwardly approaching Taraji. The video suggests a brief exchange where they meet eyes but seem to divert their attention elsewhere. It's reminiscent of those uncomfortable elevator rides with colleagues you may not get along with. While the differences between Black billionaires like Oprah and someone like Jeff Bezos are striking, the narrative shifts to a broader discussion about struggles, particularly in Hollywood. Taraji recently addressed the challenges faced by Black actors, shedding light on pay disparities and inequality within the industry. This issue is not unique to her, as Gabrielle Union, Keke Palmer, and other Black actors have also spoken out about the disparity between their efforts on screen and the compensation they receive. The speculation around a possible discord between Oprah and Taraji may stem from concerns that financial troubles could overshadow the film. Produced by Steven Spielberg, Quincy Jones, and Oprah herself, there may be a shared desire to keep the focus on the project rather than personal financial matters. Social media commentary and theories surrounding the payment disparities and dedication of the cast have likely prompted discussions within the media sphere. Taraji's team, or the significant PR machinery associated with The Color Purple, might have become aware of the shifting narrative surrounding the film. Consequently, they may have encouraged Taraji to address the matter publicly, leading to her statement on the issue.
Notice how Oprah treats everybody during this press conference. Taraji is first, right? Now look at her eyes. She looks down when she's talking about the movie. She wasn't excited about it.
However, according to Meryl, her friend Viola is never going to let history repeat. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.